Honestly, my high school life would have been a total train wreck if I hadn't followed the advice I'm about to share with you today. Hey everyone, it's Sai here and welcome back to the channel. Back in elementary, life felt pretty straightforward. You'd study, take a quiz, and boom, the grades would roll in along with an award. So I walked into high school thinking that it would be more of the same easy friends, piece of cake subjects, and zero stress. But I was wrong. So wrong. My junior years were a blur of chaos. And being in one of the most prestigious schools in the city or in our city, it only cranked up the pressure. I felt like I was flying solo with no one to guide me and everything to figure out on my own. Coming off the heels of the pandemic and years of online learning, jumping straight into face to face classes or face to face high school was a massive culture shock. Fitting in felt impossible. Getting noticed by teachers was a struggle, and studying, it was a nightmare because I didn't have the right tools or methods. So, how did I actually survive these paces and find my way to the person I am now? Stick around to find out. Hey, while you're here, I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button to join our community. And don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never, ever miss an update. So, let's dive in. The very first thing that I had to fix was my mindset. Now, I know what you are thinking right now. Oh, great. Here we go again with the mindset talk. It's usually so broad and vague that it's impossible to actually apply. But I've got good news. You only need to remember three words to make this work. I call it the DMC: discipline, motivation, and consistency. You probably heard people say, don't rely on don't rely on motivation. Rely on discipline. Well, my take is a little different. I rely on both. Wait, what? I know that sounds absurd, but hear me out. Most people treat discipline and motivation like they're rivals, but I treat them like partners. I think of it this way: discipline feels like a chore when you really don't want to do the work. So, you need a spark of motivation to get the vibe going. On the flip side, motivation is great, but it's temporary. If you aren't disciplined, that spark will fade, and you'll be left with no reason to push through the finish line. In short, it's all about balance. Don't let your mood dictate your day, but don't also burn yourself out by being a robot either. Find that sweet spot where they meet, and that's where the magic will happen. So, let's actually break down the DMC framework because these three words are the gears that kept my high school life from falling apart. D is for discipline. I think of discipline as the tracks for a train. It doesn't matter if a train wants to go left or right. The tracks dictate the path. Discipline is your non negotiable. It's showing up when the bed is too warm or the phone is too distracting. In a prestigious school, you can't wait for the right moment to study. You just have to do it because it's on the schedule. M is for motivation. Now, some people say motivation is trash because it's fleeting. I disagree. Motivation is your fuel. You can have the best train tracks in the world or your discipline, the best discipline in the world. But if the engine has no fuel, you aren't going anywhere. Motivation is the why. Why are you studying so hard? Is it for your dream career? To make your parents proud? Or to finally prove to yourself that you can do it? Use that vibe to give your discipline a head start. Lastly, C is for consistency. This is the secret sauce that ties it all together. You can be disciplined for a day and motivated for a week, but without consistency, you're just one hit wonder. Consistency is the bridge between a goal and an achievement. It's about doing the small, boring things every single day until they become second nature. It's not about being 100% perfect. It's about being 100% present. Honestly, guys, it's really hard for me to apply these before. So don't expect that after you watch this video, you are suddenly so consistent. That didn't work for me. So, what's the twist? If you are purely disciplined, you'll burn out. If you're purely motivated, you'll be inconsistent. But when you balance the three, you become unstoppable. The second secret is knowing your habitual patterns. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Patterns are the invisible tracks we run on every single day. They are the sequences of actions we do almost automatically. The problem is, sometimes these habitual patterns are exactly what's pulling us into the undisciplined, unmotivated, and inconsistent versions of ourselves. I'm not saying that you need to wait a whole month to track this. You can start by becoming your most diligent self right now, just by looking backwards. Think about yesterday. Think about last week or even last month. What were you doing right before you felt lazy? You should, first thing first, identify the triggers. Was it your mood? Was it the fact that you scrolled through TikTok for just 5 minutes before opening your textbook? Or is it that you forgot to take a real break? So, your brain just decided to shut down on its own. They are my experiences. Yeah. I have read the quote on the book Atomic Habits, and it says that it doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path towards success. So, let that sink in first. Now, grab a notebook, a scrap of paper, or even the back of an old receipt. It doesn't matter. List down these recurring loops. Once you see the pattern on the paper you're writing on, you take away its power over you. Reflect on it and ask, what is one small alternative I can do to break this cycle? If your pattern is phone, then go to bed, then nap, try changing it into phone in another room, desk, and then a 10-minute timer. Once you start looking, you'll realize that these patterns usually fall into three categories. First is there's the energy drain pattern. We all have times when our brain just wants to check out. Maybe it's that 3 o'clock p.m. slump. Instead of fighting it and feeling guilty, learn to work with it. Use your high energy hours for the heavy lifting, like math or science, and save your slump hours for something lighter, like sketching or organizing your notes. Next is pay attention to your environment pattern. Trust me, this was my very main problem because your brain associates certain places with your certain vibes. If your pattern is sitting on the bed leads to falling asleep, then your bed is the trigger. Try shifting your environment. Sometimes just moving to a different chair can break a cycle of laziness. Finally, watch out for the chain reaction pattern. This is where one small slip up, like skipping a meal or missing a morning alarm, creates a domino effect that ruins your whole mood for the whole day. When you identify these, don't just feel bad about them. Act on them. List them down on a scrap of paper or in your notebook. Then reflect and start identifying simple alternatives. If your chain reaction starts with your phone, try leaving it in another room for the first hour of your day. By swapping out these bad loops, you're actually rewiring your life for success. When you swap out a bad pattern for a better alternative, you aren't just trying harder. You're actually rewiring how your day works. The third thing I did, honestly, the thing that kept my head above water was creating a simple, easy to follow schedule and habit tracker. Here's a quick look at how I structure my day over in the screen. You can see as you can see, my school day schedule falls into four main categories. First is there's the academics. This takes up the biggest chunk of my day. One pro tip is that I try to finish as many assignments as possible while I'm still at school. It actually saves much more time for me. And during free periods or while waiting for my ride home. That way, when I step through my front door, I have more breathing room for everything else I needed to do or I wanted to do. Then the rest of my time is balanced between chores, spiritual growth like Bible study, and quality time for resting and bonding with my family. I even have a separate vacation schedule. It's similar in format but focuses on the things I am passionate about, like writing stories, my stories, catching up on books I had to drop during the semester, and learning new languages and getting this YouTube channel active. I refuse to let my breaks disappear into a void of doom scrolling. Now, some people hate schedules. They say it turns your life into a boring, repetitive cycle and kills your chance to explore new things. Honestly, they're half right. But they're also missing the point. Yes, it's repetitive. And that's actually the goal. Repetition is what turns a task into a non negotiable habit. If your schedule is filled with things that make you a better version of yourself, why wouldn't you want that to be repetitive? And the idea that you can't improve or explore, that's where they're wrong. Having a structure actually gives you more freedom because you aren't wasting energy wondering what to do next. And look, nobody is perfect. There will be days when life happens and you can follow the plan 100%, and that's okay. Adjust, move a task to tomorrow, and keep going. Just don't make skipping it your new habit. To wrap it all up, surviving the pressure of a prestigious high school comes down to three things: mastering DMC mindset by balancing discipline with motivation, identifying and breaking the hidden patterns that trigger your procrastination, and using a simple schedule as your daily blueprint. By combining these, you stop just getting by and start building non negotiable habits that leave plenty of room for what you actually love. It's not about being a perfect robot, it's about creating a system that helps you reclaim your time and your growth. And that's it for today's video. I really hope that these three steps, mindset, patterns, and scheduling, helps you navigate your own journey, whether you're in a high pressure school or just trying to get your life together. Remember that progress isn't about being perfect every single day. It's about showing up even when it's messy. If you also had this kind of problem before and got out of it, I would love to know how you did it too. I would love if you could talk about it in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who might need a little boost in life. Thank you so much, everyone, for spending a part of your day with me. Again, I am Sai, and I'll see you in the next one.